The Forza Motorsports series. This series we all know and love is projected to release its next iteration to accompany the release of the Project Scorpio console in the Christmas shopping season of 2017. So I thought it would be fun to make a small list of things not only I, but my fellow Forza players would like to see in Forza Motorsport 7. It's Skywarp 72 Cruizers Motorsports Gaming, and this is the top 10 things that need to happen in FM7. A small disclaimer before we start the countdown: even though the Forza series is my focus for the channel here, I'm not a Forza fanboy. The series is certainly my favorite and I enjoy it very much, but it's definitely not without its faults and flaws, some of which I'll be pointing out today. The intention here is not to bash the game, but to calmly discuss shortcomings and the tweaks and fixes to overcome those shortcomings amongst us hardcore fans. Because, well, let's face it, Turn 10 and Microsoft haven't done such a great job listening to us since 4, as their focus, for some reason, seems to be the casual gamer. Coupled with the stigmata of odd-numbered Forzas not being up to par in the past, expectations are low, and this list is only relative. Physics fix. This one should be 10.5 and 10. It's kind of a two-parter. It's no secret that FM7 is going to be PC accessible as Microsoft broadens their market. That's all fine and good, but these PC players are going to be coming over from other racing sims like Project Cars and iRacing to join us, so the touch of arcade and our simcade has to go. Certain aspects of it anyway. The first thing that has to go is the pinball physics. I can maybe understand cars bouncing off each other like this in wet conditions, but not on a dry track, and certainly not on racing slicks. While I do not condone wreckers in the game, rubbin' is racing, and I miss that aspect of it from Forza 4 and 5 where those physics weren't so prevalent. I can tell you from my years of asphalt circle track racing that these pinball physics are garbage, as is the second thing, and the fact that it's too arcadey to throw 1,000 horsepower in a car with 75 series white walls and win races with it. I know it's certainly not a fan favorite, but FM5's lack of grip was closer to real-life grip than 6. The answer? A compromise in between the two seems in order to make it more sim-based, as I don't want to have to listen to the PC users in lobbies complaining that Forza's not as realistic as iRacing. Clown server problems. My friend's circle in the game is relatively small. This is due to our ultra-clean racing, but filthy, disgusting, dark, but humorous conversations. In that small group, however, 4 of us, including myself, had our cloud save go corrupt for no reason. When this happens, the game won't even start up, no matter how many hard resets, uninstalling and reinstalling the game, or calls to Xbox Live support you make. That is, until you delete your local and cloud saves, and have to start the entire game over again from scratch. I was level 550 in January of 2016 when it happened to me, but as late as February of 17, it happened to my friend RevMaster01 at level 1300. There are many other accounts of this happening on the Forza forums, so needless to say, this desperately needs addressed not only now, but for FM7 as well. Clubbed to death. In a previous video, the top 10 terrific things about Forza Horizon 3, I praised Playground Games for keeping the car clubs around. I take great pride in my club, and most other club leaders do as well. This boosts morale and competition in multiplayer, often help cleaning up racing lobbies. An integral part of Forza until 5, it's time for its return. Car customization. A trend in the past has been that the Horizon series is often a testbed of things to come in motorsport, hence how we got the prize spins for leveling up in FM6. So here's to hoping the body kits and exposed oil coolers make their way from Horizon into FM7. It would certainly give FM7 an advantage over most of its PC competitors. Lobby smoke signals. One thing that has blown my mind about FM6 is not only the problem of communication in lobby chat, but the fact it's never been addressed. If you couldn't tell, I like to run a lot of public lobbies. but often do so in private parties so I can communicate with fellow racers, as the lobby chat is off and on again broken. The problem is there is room for 16 people in a party, but for 24 in a lobby. Turn 10 needs to sit down with the calculator and figure all that out before FM7. Track step up. Say what you will about FM5, but the coolest thing it had going for it was the fact that they gave us tracks. 3 as far as I can remember, being Long Beach, Road America, and The Ring. What happened to this trend in 6? Tracks that we had to pay for that were part of expansion packs and are only available in private lobbies. Not cool. The tracks were brilliant being VAR and Homestead, especially Homestead since I actually raced there. But any DLC tracks should be added to the public lobby roster for free. And speaking of tracks, no one I have ever spoken with likes Rio, and only a handful like to run the Alps. It's time to stop with these tracks that can be broken up into smaller circuits just to enhance the number of tracks available in the game. Rio is just one track, not the 8 different versions of it they're calling separate tracks. Long overdue is Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Willow Springs, Gingerman Raceway, Donington Park, Camino Viejo, and for the love of Primus, give us back Maple Valley. And figure out the licensing dispute for the Japan tracks. Just not Tsukuba. Yeah, that track. Upgrade and tune. Tuning has essentially been untouched since FM3 and could use an overhaul. We're not asking for anything as in-depth as Project Cars, where you needed an engineering degree to make your car handle, but some different suspension settings, say per wheel, not per axle, would be super. The upgrade area needs tweaking as well, as too many cars that are virtually the same get different PI treatments. Take for example the 3rd and 4th gen Camaros and Firebirds. These cars from 1982 to 2002 were the same exact car between the two. Same engines, transmissions, subframes, electronics, everything, just obviously with slightly different body panels. Yet in-game, they build and tune like 2 totally different cars, especially when it comes to PI. Eliminate trucks and SUVs. I tolerate the trucks and SUVs in the Horizon series due to the off-road races, but it's high time to get rid of them in motorsport. Why on earth do we need an X5, a Raptor, a Hummer, and why do we have these behemoths instead of sport-oriented trucks like the SVT Lightning and Chevy 454 SS? I'm not saying that with time and hard work these trucks and SUVs can be competitive in racing or drifting, but are all too often for the weapon of choice for low-life wreckers and 13-year-olds to crash lobbies with. And you can't argue this, because even Turn 10 recognized this and has banned most of them from public lobbies. So if you can't use them in public lobbies, what's the point of having them in the first place? Not to mention the space they're taking up that could be used to bring back cars from previous Forzas that have been dropped for some reason, like the Di Tommaso Pantera, the Dodge Omni GLH, the 90s Impala SS, in which I own one. The list goes on. Simply put, less Pterodyne Gurkhas and more Pontiac Fieros. Save the SUVs for Horizon. Speaking of wreckers, crashers, rammers, wreckers, mischief players, call them what you will, but it's time to stop this bullshit. Some kind of in-race penalty has got to be put on these guys. In Grid 2, if you cut track or ran into people, you were limited to 40 miles an hour for 5 seconds. And that was back in the 360. iRacing has lobby moderators to keep everything in check. And don't tell me Turn 10 can't moderate, because honestly, if they moderated the game half as well as they moderate their forums, then they wouldn't have hundreds of threads complaining about bad drivers. Remember when I said I wasn't a Forza fanboy? I honestly think Gran Turismo was onto something when they implemented their licensing system. Make players complete tests, or at least complete an X amount of career races before they can join online. I've seen level 0 racers join lobbies and screw up clean racers' days, only to quit a lap later. The big one. It's time to quit experimenting with other things like the leagues and bring back public, user-created lobbies. For those players that didn't have the privilege of playing FM4, they work like this. You create a match, only it's public so anybody can join. But if any randoms join that caused mischief or didn't want to follow your rules, you could give them Das Boot! This was the absolute best way to hook up with other clean racers, no matter if you like to race, drift, or just cruise up Fujimi Alkaido without incident. Die Hard Racer? Force traction off of the lobby. Other diehards with similar skill interests would join you. It really is the best way to connect with like-minded players and have fun in the game. Isn't that the point? Oh, and a bonus thing is all the things on this list were for the greater good of the community. This one's all for me. If FM7 could come with an 88 or 89 Chevy Beretta GTU or a 90 Indy, that would be the cherry on the cake, Turn 10. There's already 3D rendering of it out there. Humbly, a die-hard Forza player. And alright, there it is, ladies and gents, the top 10 things that need to happen in FM7. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anything I missed on this list that you think should be here? Let me know in the comment section below, as I love interacting with my viewers. Don't forget to share the video with your friends, click that like button, and subscribe to the channel for all the upcoming info on FM7. This is Skywarp72. I'll see you next week.